Yo, what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and drop your boy some comments. All right. So in the last live stream that we did, one of the things that came up was a thing called HAARP. Now, my question is for everybody that's in here is, are you familiar with what HAARP is? And before I ask you what HAARP is, I need to ask you if you are familiar with predictive programming. My man Joe 32 is in the building early. Burley and early. What's good with you, Joe 32? Hope everything is going well. Happy Saturday to y'all. All right. So my question is, ladies and gentlemen, are you aware of what predictive programming is? Dondre McCline, what up? Peace and wellness, family. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Good to have you. All right. We're going to try to get you to stay. But peace and wellness for sure. So my question is, do you all know what predictive programming is? If you know what predictive programming is, let's talk about it. Type it in the comments. Hook your boy up with a definition. And don't be Googling stuff. Just go off the top. You see how I ain't got no hat? Do like my head, off the top, all right? Predictive programming. And then we'll go into that a little bit. And then the next step that we take will be what HAARP is. And I think it was actually Constance Jackson who brought this up. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was. What's up, Constance? Good to see you. Yes, and HAARP is real. All right, well, that's what's up. Well, tell us what HAARP is. Let's see. Let's hear it. Tell us what HAARP is. And what is predictive programming? And is predictive programming real? That's even a better question. Just another system of control of information and espionage. It's not even a new concept. The Soviets tried it in the DUGA array and failed due to the disaster in Chernobyl. Lucas, what's good, brother? Good to see you, man. And you're right. You're absolutely right. And I want to show you guys a little example of it. And it's funny because that example has to do with HAARP. Brainwashing. Yeah, it absolutely is an element of brainwashing. It's absolutely an element of brainwashing and conditioning. Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. So I have an article for you. I have a couple video clips for you. Then I have a couple more articles for you. All right. So it looks like we have somewhat of a definition of predictive programming. All right. My next question is for someone to tell me what HAARP is. What is HAARP? Oh, high frequency something. Constance. One aspect of HAARP warfare for controlling a government's access to grow food and transport weapons. Interesting. Interesting, Dondre. Sounds good. I'm with it. Sounds about right. My question is, have you ever seen something that people believe is similar to HAARP described before? Have you ever witnessed it on a TV show, in a movie? We all know what the concept of HAARP is, and Dondre has given us a good definition of it. My question is, did you see HAARP before HAARP was HAARP? We got a like over on Facebook. Appreciate y'all over there on Facebook. If y'all not following Black Light Revelations on Facebook, make sure you stop over there and smash the like button over there and follow the Black Light Revelations page, because we do multi-stream and our streams go over there too. So when YouTube is acting janky, you get the notification right there on Facebook. What's up, Jesse? Good to see you, bro. Hope everything is well. Happy Saturday. There's already a few papers on the effects of electromagnetic waves on the brains from people that live near power grids, stuff like brain tissue degradation, including tumors and mind conditioning. What do you guys think about Lucas's answer? It sounds scary, but it sounds true. But I want to know what you guys think about it. That's a lot to digest, right? Life is life over here. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it, bro. I feel it. We only got one life to live. You know what I'm saying? So live it up. It's the only direction you better be living in is up. You know what I mean? In real life this year, HAARP hit some southern states so bad with that fake snow, we were stuck inside for almost a week. What was that in? What was like in Texas? Didn't Texas get some snow? Now the fake snow. I've heard about this fake snow. They say that it doesn't melt real easy. That's interesting. It's very interesting. So I think we got a good groundwork to where we can dive into this stuff. If you guys haven't hit the like button already, please make sure you do that. Smash the like button. Share this video out to all of your social media. That would be nice. That would help your boy out. All right. I appreciate you guys chatting like this. Keep it up. That helps as well. All right. So let's check this out. Lucas, also cancer is more common now with higher frequency electromagnetic waves. And this is facts. Question: why? That's the question. The psychology of extraordinary beliefs. Predictive programming. All right. This is from Ohio State University. Predictive programming is a theory that the government or other higher ups are using fictional movies or books as mass mind control tools to make the population more accepting of planned future events. Let's stop right there. Have you read any books that sound like predictive programming? Have you seen any movies that sound like predictive programming? If you have, type them in the comments. What have you read? Some people say that a lot of George Orwell books are predictive programming. People have shown pictures of snow they've burned, fake snow. Yeah, like confetti. I've heard about that. Some people say the Matrix is predictive programming. RoboCop, Judge Dredd, The Walking Dead. Because it alters cell behavior. If I'm not mistaken, it instigates cells to reproduce out of control, leading to tumors. But if they want to discover how to use it, as a conditioning tool. That Sweet Tooth show. Yeah, that Disney movie, Wall-E. So type in some TV shows or type in some cartoons that you've seen that you believe are predictive programming. All right. This was first described and proposed by researcher Alan Watt, who defines predictive programming as predictive programming is a subtle form of psychological conditioning. Doesn't that sound like what Joe said? Provided by the media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes. Let's stop there. What are some planned societal changes? To be implemented by our leaders. If and when these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural progressions, thus lessening possible public resistance and commotion. Let's stop right there for a second. What do you guys think about that? Birth control is one. The show called Utopia is the most recent predictive programming. What about Stranger Things? What about that? What about American Horror Story? What about The Strain? What about Z Nation? What about The Jetsons? The Simpsons? Futurama? Game of Thrones as well. With the White Walkers. Have you guys ever seen this cartoon from back in the day called Bots Master? If you've seen Bots Master before, type it in the comments. If you haven't, let me know. What about Alien, the movie Alien, Prometheus, Independence Day? All of those shows, we could say, are predictive programming. Or there's a predictable element of them, right? Lucy. Remember that show, Lucy? Another real good one is Ultraviolet. Who saw that show, Ultraviolet? Sounds like eugenics, a design plan to lower or end the population. Yeah, facts. Stepford Wives. So give me a list. Give me all the shows that you guys watch that are predictive programming. What about these cartoons from back in the day? What about Transformers? What about GoBots? You know, what about the Jetsons? Superman, Batman, Avengers, Marvel Comics series, X-Men. You guys remember the Extinction Agenda from X-Men with General Taft? The Simpsons, yeah, big facts. Tons of predictive programming out there. My question, what about all the stuff that has the, stuff that people are concerned that they're normalizing? So my question is, are we currently watching predictive programming? Are we currently being predictively programmed? Is that happening right now? Is that something that we need to be aware of right now? The media has always been used to prepare society for NWO or greater change in society. Music was used since the dawn of humanity as a tool of war, preparing groups to attack. Today, it's institutionalized. Isn't that interesting? Music can control people because of what? Frequency. If you woke, no. But if you asleep, yes. They got Australia on the NWO protocol right now. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Then it was popularized by Alex Jones and David Icke. The most notable cases of predictive programming are the examples, here we go, found in The Simpsons, The Dark Knight Rises, The Hunger Games, and the oldest being from Futility. Information can be found on blog posts, and many conspiracy theorists have either made videos on it or have spoken on the subject. People who believe this theory are mostly conspiracy theorists who think there will be a totalitarian government takeover. On the more mild side, theorists who believe tragic events are an inside job or completely fake. David Icke proposed that the Sandy Hook shooting was predicted in The Dark Knight Rises because Sandy Hook is shown on the map in one of the scenes. Are you guys familiar with My Pet Goat? If you're familiar with My Pet Goat, let me know. Most definitely. Have a nice glass of fluoride and watch Saturday Night Live. Manchurian Candidate. Facts. Yes, we need to be more aware than ever. I totally agree, Dondre. I totally agree. Sodom and Gomorrah, the movie. Yeah, big facts. The Bible is pretty predictive programming, isn't it? Same with the Quran, isn't it? You guys agree with me that the Bible is predictive programming? I mean, it has literal predictions in it. Well, I was looking for more information on the motives behind government participating in predictive programming. I found that most commonly people believe the government creates a problem, so the population will look to the government for a solution. Oh, what's that called? We're going to see how good you guys pay attention. You guys remember when we talked about that? Shoot, you just mentioned the top 2 programs, right? Right. The Purge, big facts. Rain King, what's going on, bro? Do you guys remember when I talked about this? While I was looking for more information on the motives behind the government participating in predictive programming, I found that most commonly people believe the government creates a problem, so the population will look to the government for a solution. What do we call that? We did a very extensive live stream on that. What is the term for that? And I'll give you a hint. It's 2 words. What's the term for that? My man Ro is in the building, and my man came through. That's the word for it. Hegelian dialectic. My man Jesse got it too. Hegelian dialectic. That's what's up. The final episode of Boondocks, season 1. Yeah, Boondocks is mad predictive, bro. Mad predictive. However, because the government planned for the crisis, see this? Because the government planned for the crisis, the government will offer a solution that has been planned long before the crisis ever happened. Now, I have a question for you guys. Do that have anything to do with, girl, you look good once you vax that thing up? That don't sound like girl vax that thing up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know the new hit song by Ass Money Records? Yeah, you look good once you vax that thing up. You a big dumb ass once you back that thing up. Sick bandit. Can't stand it. Oh, Lord, man. Why? Solution to a problem they created. Big facts. Big facts. Trashed their whole catalog. Oh, they messed themselves up, man. They messed themselves up. I was so mad at Mia X. I said, why? And she sung it with soul. Like she sung it, you know what I'm saying, from the belly to the chest. After you back it up, then stop. Then why? Go on and get the shot. Like for real. You see, they didn't get Lil Wayne in that. Lil Wayne wasn't involved in it for once. Oh, that was Cringe Worthington the third, man. Damn. Juvenile sick for that. Yeah, man. Yeah. That shit came to the company meeting that said, "Hello, my name is Tom Foolery." Horrible, man. I can't believe he did that. I can't believe that somebody thought that that would work. That shows a lot about how we're looked at. You know what I mean? Like, just take it back for a second. Let's actually just we go on a little tangent. You know what I'm saying? I got some time. Somebody actually thought that that would make somebody change their mind about what their plans were. Think about that. Like, come on, do better. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Alan Watt, along with many others, believed a desired outcome is created through the power of suggestion in the media. This theory is still very popular today because any huge event can be seemingly traced back to cartoon or movie that was fortunate enough to predict it. Alan Watt, along with many others, all right, believe a desired outcome is created through the power of suggestion of media. Remember, media comes from Hollywood. Do y'all know what Hollywood is? What actual Hollywood is? Because any huge event today can be seemingly traced back to the cartoon or movie that was fortunate enough to predict it. Now, if you guys saw some of my older videos, I always put the predictive programming right in the beginning of the videos. Like people that have been around, like Rogish been around, Constance, Rain King, Jesse, they know. So y'all need to go watch some of my old content because before I started live streaming a lot, the way I used to format my videos was the predictive programming for what I'm talking about. That would be the intro before my intro. And of course, you know what I'm saying? It would have my boy Blade nailing that dude to a wall. That's symbolic, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show y'all a couple of video clips. All right. And then we're going to get back to this article. What that sound like? That sound good? We got 9 people in here. That's awesome. I appreciate all you guys. Please make sure you smash the like button. Help your boy out. Help get the alerts out because you got to love how YouTube does. You know what I'm saying? Which is that they don't do anything at all. So let's check this out, man. Let's see what's going on real quick. I got to ask y'all something. I want to know how you guys feel about something. All right. So let's watch this real quick, shall we? Let's listen to this. Hold on, let me just make sure we at the right place. All right, let's listen. Let's listen. Now, you know, with the copyright stuff, we got to stop it and start it. So sometimes I'm going to have to stop it for no reason, and then I'm going to just have to start it up. I'm going to hop over there to where everyone is. All right, yeah, that's what's up. Come on over to YouTube, bro. Do y'all remember that? Did y'all hear what Destro just said? Listen, this ain't no damn predictive programming. This motherfucker he said it flat out. Listen, look. Do you hear this dude, man? This is a damn cartoon from the 80s. Do you hear Destro? Like, that's not just predictive programming. Like, this dude actually, like, literally is giving literal instructions. And wait till we get to the HAARP part. Y'all didn't hear it? Were you guys able to hear it? And read what Constance said. Yes, the magic wands were absolutely made out of Hollywood. That's why I asked about Hollywood. She's right. All right, let's check it out. We're gonna bring it back one more time. I want to make sure that I shared the screen properly with the sound. If you guys can hear the sound from the screen, let me know. All right. All right, listen, pay attention. Listen to what Destro says.
It shall provide us with rare sport later. But first, I must harness the laser core to my weather dominator, to the water vapor controlling mechanisms of the Hydromaster, and the electromagnetic energizing capabilities of the ion correlator.
What? Look, man, how old was we when we was watching G.I. Joe? Why is this cat using like actual specific, actual, real, actual terms? Like, do y'all hear this? Wait till we get to the part about the actual HAARP thing, though. Pay attention. Take some notes. Yeah, I'm playing it through the computer mic. I think I might have had actually forgotten to click the button. The screen share sound. Can you guys were you guys able to hear the video sound okay? If you guys can hear the video sound okay, let me know. Type it in the comments, all right? G.I. Joe was my favorite. And He-Man, yeah, He-Man was dope. He-Man was dope for sure. Let's listen to Destro one more time, because this is funny as hell.
Excellent. Such fighting spirit shall provide us with rare sport later. But first, I must harness the laser core to my weather dominator, to the water vapor controlling mechanisms of the Hydromaster, and the electromagnetic energizing capabilities of the ion correlator.
Man, this dude was actually for real trying to give somebody instructions how to make one of these things, man. If you was like a little science geek back in the day, like how I was, man, you could figure out how to make one of these things from that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's talking about the ionosphere. He's talking about charging up ions. What ions is he talking about charging up? He's talking about water vapor. Okay, he's talking about doing something to the clouds. Like, if you're a little science geek, if you was a little science nerd like I was back in the day, man, you could figure out how to make one of these things, or at least figure out what he was trying to do from just normal logical reasoning. You know what I'm saying? So my question is that right there, all right? You heard it, and I got other videos. Is that right there predictive programming? Yes or no? Right, Joe? Right, Rogish? I mean, if that's not predictive programming, I don't know what is. Did y'all know about that? If you have or have not seen the Weather Dominator before, type it in the comments. See, I got for one, I'm OCD. Y'all know this. And I got like a photographic memory. So like I memorize all of this stuff. I remember every single thing from like everything in my childhood. So like if I see something that's popping off now, I'm like, man, wait a minute. I've seen that before. Hold on. Yep, it stood out back in the day. Man, they had so much stuff on G.I. Joe that stood out back in the day, bro. You know what I'm saying? You absolutely right. Now this is funny, man. This is hilarious. Now we actually getting into the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? We actually getting into the really good stuff now. Hold on real quick. Let's get this article back up here. And let's get it back popping. All right. So let's dive back into this article. See, so now y'all know. And what they say on G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. So now here it says predictive programming at its core is a tactic to reduce resistance by introducing concepts that seem far-fetched and continuously reintroducing them to make these concepts appear more likely or at the very least acceptable. What did I tell you was the number one method of programming someone, of conditioning someone? Repetition, correct? What's the number one tactic for reprogramming someone? Repetition. We all tried to do this with our parents when we were younger. We would ask them the same question until they said yes. Lawyers do it. They ask the same question until they get the desired answer. You never seen it, Constance? Now you have. I got a couple more clips for you, too. As always, there is a reason why movies and television are used as the common vessel. Do you see? Do you guys agree with that? There's a reason why movies and television are used as the common vessel. When watching something a person typically perceives as entertainment, and their theoretical guard will be lowered, and the subliminal messages will go directly to the subconscious. Now, my question is, for everyone watching the same show, are we receiving the same subliminal message? And doesn't this sound illegal? Notice how they are always fighting terrorists in all the movies and cartoons. Foreign colored terrorists. These pilgrims weren't slick to me. Pattern was so easy to observe. Yeah, exactly. If you notice, despite the fact that they said that Destro was a Irishman and related to Lady J, clearly Destro is a black dude. I mean, look at the face and listen to the voice. You know what I'm saying? And listen to the Baroness. The Baroness ain't in this episode, but listen to the Baroness. She sounds like an Eastern European woman or a Russian. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like most movies are funded by a small group. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you guys agree with Lucas? It sounds like most movies are funded by a small group. Small groups. It also is used as a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, because once an expectation is created, then when these events start to happen, the population may seem more likely to accept the fate. What do you guys think about that? There is also a control of imagination, because the most commonly used tool in predictive programming is science fiction. You see that? Do you guys agree with that? The most commonly used tool in predictive programming is science fiction. Is that true or is that false? Monkey see, monkey do. They studied it. Yeah. Right, Rogish. That's big facts. That's big facts. By creating these stories, the author can create boundaries of imagination and slowly show what may happen. The coincidence theory. As mentioned before, one example of this is Futility. This is a book from 1898 that shared story of a fictional ship then named Titan that was deemed unsinkable and ended up crashing into an iceberg. With a similar description and fate, this novel is seen as outlining the fate of the Titanic to create an acceptance among people for when the Titanic truly sank. Isn't that interesting? What about the marvelous adventures of Baron Trump? Is that predictive programming? Are you guys familiar with that book? If you guys are familiar with the marvelous adventures of Baron Trump, let me know. Type it in the comments. Is that predictive programming? Basically, everything that we see, we're bombarded with predictive programming all over the place. So again, you got to ask yourself, what is actually original? When we're watching things that are science fiction, they're not actually science fiction. They just haven't happened yet to our knowledge. So we got to ask ourselves, how much of our future is actually planned and how much of it is random? How much do we actually have control over? Do we have control over any of it? And why don't we have control over it? And why doesn't anybody question who has the control and why it's not us that has the control? All we have to do is all on one accord start asking these questions. But we don't question. Why? Because of stuff like this. If I show you something 5 or 10 years in the future, and then down the line, when that 5 or 10 years in the future becomes the present and you see it happen, well, you've had an implanted expectation. That's another thing that predictive programming does. It's an expectation implantation. We're going to implant an expectation of what you think the future will be. I think that there'll be robot dogs. That's an implanted expectation. You remember that robot dog that they had on, or they had the robot maid on the Jetsons? Well, they're working on having robot maids. Artificial intelligence. Did they know about artificial intelligence back then? Yes. What about E.T.? What about the movie Operation Bluebeam? All of this is a more subtle form of MK Ultra. The use of colors and patterns alongside with themes is not much different from what they did in the 70s. But the chemicals are produced by stimuli. Yeah, this is facts. That's facts. So my question is, how much of our future do we control? Let me know what you guys think. What's a percentage that's accurate that you guys can tell me of how much control we have over our future? And do you see it as a problem that we don't control very much of our future? Predictive programming is not a seamless theory because there are several contradictions when considering the possibility of subliminal messaging. Firstly, there is a conflict with the social learning theory. In the most popular experiment showing the social learning theory, children either hit or ignored a clown doll depending on what behavior they saw being exhibited by an adult. In predictive programming, it said that by portraying a message, a reaction is assured regardless of the context. But the experiment the children didn't have a reaction to, the doll, other than the one exhibited by the adult. Secondly, there are a few purposes for predictive programming, and not all of them have to deal with tyranny. Some are meant to lessen the blow of an event. Look, some are meant to lessen the blow of an event, like 9/11, or as mentioned previously, the Sandy Hook shootings. The contradiction arises when thinking about why the government would want to warn us or prepare us for Sandy Hook. The whole point of Sandy Hook conspiracies is to doubt the event even happened so the government could create a conversation of gun control. This would defeat the purpose of staging it if the government was trying to ensure a small or inexistent response. What's funny is all of these people that are talking about how the crime is going up, you don't think that the crime is going up because of government-controlled crime? The government is allowing the crime to get out of control? That's all part of an agenda? Do you really think that people are actually committing crimes at a higher rate? At a time when you can get free money just for breathing. It's never been like this ever in the United States. Never. It's never been where you can just be there. You can just exist and get free money. But it's like that now, and the crime has went up. Does that make sense to anybody? As much as we want, as long as it doesn't get in the way of the wrong people, most people are happy living in a mediocre life. They know this and use it against us to shape culture for basic needs. Exactly. Whose basic needs? Exactly. Most people are just waiting to be downloaded with commands. And those who think they aren't never think about the fact that their selections are chosen, are in fact offered. Yeah, absolutely. We don't have choices. We have ultimatums, but they're presented to you as choices. Presentation has a lot to do with everything. Presentation can trick you. I can provide you shit on a silver plate and people will eat it because it's on a silver plate. I can give you ultimatums and present them to you as if you have a choice and on top of it, the right to that choice. We're going to give you a right and we're going to give you a choice. There's a difference between a choice and an ultimatum. And a lot of times people don't know whether they're making a choice or taking an ultimatum. I'm going to tell you something. 9 times out of 10, if it happens in this reality, you may not know it, but you're taking an ultimatum. Okay? If you guys are enjoying this video, help your boy out by smashing the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. And if you got some extra time, share the video out. All right? Fractional reserve crime rate theory. Yeah. This would defeat the purpose of staging it if the government was trying to ensure a small or inexistent response. Lastly, Alan Watts is very successful in explaining how an event was predicted by looking back at what was in movies or cartoons. You see that? What was in movies or what was in cartoons before the event. But predictive programming is not actually successful in predicting what may happen in the future based on current media. For example, The Simpsons are credited with predicting 9/11, the Ebola virus, Trump's presidency, and many others. In a particular episode, Lisa is seen holding a magazine that advertises $9 bus fares to New York City, but the price is placed by a silhouette of the Twin Towers. Therefore, the cover is depicting 9/11 and is involved in predictive programming. These instances of prediction from The Simpsons has only surfaced along with the theory, but there are no new predictions being reported from The Simpsons. And this is how you can tell this is an old article, because The Simpsons also predicted George Floyd. Lisa was standing in front of that police officer kneeling on that dude that looked like George Floyd. Did y'all see that? The George Floyd prediction from The Simpsons? They are allowing guns, creating platforms for racism, violent games, movies. Oh, yeah, big facts. Big facts. For example, The Simpsons are credited with predicting 9/11. Let's listen 9/11. Let's listen to this again. The Ebola virus, Trump's presidency, and many others. In a particular episode, Lisa is seen holding a magazine that advertises $9 bus fares to New York City, but the price is placed by a silhouette of the Twin Towers. Therefore, the cover is depicting 9/11 and is involved in predictive programming. These instances of prediction from The Simpsons have only surfaced along with the theory, but there are no new predictions being reported from The Simpsons, with the majority being from the early 1990s and early 2000s, showing that the accuracy of predicting the future is still iffy, is still 50-50 and left to chance. Have you guys seen the George Floyd prediction from The Simpsons? And Shrek as well. Yeah. Hold on real quick. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all. Yeah. All right, hold on. Check this out. I can't believe y'all didn't know about this. Could this be related to the Mandela effect? That's interesting. You never know. You can't rule out anything. Were you guys Were you guys familiar with that? Did y'all know that? Look at that. He even got the black wife beater on. And his name is George. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? Lisa Simpson was on it. Lisa Simpson was trying. She the only real liberal out here trying to do anything. Lisa Simpson. Oh, man, it's wild out here, man. It's wild out here, brother. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Look at this. Look, look. They even got them burning up the police station. And then they're gonna say no, the Simpsons didn't predict the murder of George Floyd. Come on, man. Like, this is one of those fact check things. Like, when you see the facts right there, was it on there or did I miss it? Hashtag EBK. These people think this is a game. Time to flip the whole board. Yeah, no, it was on air. They said in 2007. Let me see. Yeah, 2007. Crazy, right? The Simpsons is a very dangerous show. Yeah, that's big facts, man. Yeah, that's big facts. Better make sure you watch all of the episodes to make sure that we don't show up on any of them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. That's a bad thing. Let's see. We'll put this back up here on the screen real quick. So now here it says there are several cognitive contributions that can be attributed to predictive programming. A lot of evidence presented by theorists are highly likely to be coincidences. Some are eerie and seem to be a sure thing, but they could be resulting from paranoia. Or I'm sorry, from pareidoia. Pareidoia is seeing patterns in random stimuli. As theorists are looking through evidence for their belief, they may begin to use a confirmation bias and see a pattern that does not actually exist. Interestingly enough, pseudoscience may play a role in the appeal of this theory. A lot of the basis of predictive programming can be attributed to the idea of a neurolinguistic programming, but after the empirical testing, there is no evidence that neurolinguistic programming even works. More importantly, there is no link between the two. As mentioned before, predictive programming is meant to soften the blow of a traumatic event and create less of a reaction and a tendency to accept. All right. Have you guys noticed anything recently that we could say could possibly be predictive programming? I wonder if Conan was in on it since he was behind most of those early seasons. I wouldn't doubt it. There are no coincidences, facts. Bill Cooper said that in his book, Behold a Pale Horse. My question is, how many of y'all have read that book, Behold a Pale Horse? We eat the food, drink the water, we breathe the air. Who knows how they predicted George Floyd? This is facts. And I'll tell you what, the Simpsons are not the only people that predicted 9/11. There was other people that predicted 9/11. There was definitely other people that predicted 9/11 in addition to the Simpsons. However, these are studies that show the stimulus is presented in a very important outcome. A study in 2009 showed that portraying something in a negative or positive way will impact how it's perceived. This eliminates the idea of predictive programming being completely subliminal, but it does introduce the idea that mere exposure effect. By showing a positive or neutral stimulus repeatedly, again, there's that word, repeatedly, there is a tendency for a person to like that stimulus more and more over time. These findings are both a problem for predictive programming because though the mere exposure effect would have an even worse reaction to any negative being presented. The mass majority of believers in this theory are conspiracy theorists. Alan Watts, a researcher who first described the phenomena, but it was made popular by David Icke and Alex Jones. So see, this article is literally doing what it's saying by continuing to bring up Alex Jones and David Icke's use of it when it was created by a dude named Alan Watts. And they're bringing up David Icke and Alex Jones to, decrease the potency of how real this concept may actually be. You know what I mean? So now here it says what they proposed as evidence seems very believable. And with a lot of exposure and good explanations, predictive programming seems convincing not to be real. Conspiracy theorists mainly latch on to this idea because as the theorists, they have already seen a sense of disdain works towards the government and beliefs long held deceit within the higher ups. These two factors play into why many believe predictive programming is real, because most times when a person believes in one conspiracy theory, they believe in others. Predictive programming is a seemingly real phenomena, but it is built up by facts that aren't truly facts. and perpetuated by a self-proclaimed researcher and social media. With such easy access to all of the events and the tendency to not trust the government, the patterns presented as evidence make predictive programming look like a real and unstoppable issue. There are instances that have been shown, but for the most part, the belief in predictive programming grows each time new quote evidence is presented. All right. So now here's a video. It's called Hollywood Occultism. Esoteric Hollywood. Have you guys ever seen this video? I'll put the link to this video in the description box. Alan Watt is an honorable cat. Yeah, and you see how they called him a quote self-proclaimed researcher. And one of the reasons why they do that, why they calling him a self-proclaimed researcher, is because they're trying to delegitimize his efforts. Delegitimization is an unspoken tool of mass destruction. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes of predictive programming, the lying wonders of Hollywood prophets. hezzycomingblog.wordpress.com, 20th October of 2016. These are all of these resources that they have here. All right. So that's the end of this article. All right. And again, I will link all of this in the description box. If NLP is a reality, then when it comes to predictive programming, how can there be any doubt? Yeah, exactly. I don't think there is any doubt. I think the doubt has to be created when we repeatedly see things that are mentioned in the past where there's no buildup to creating them visibly, and then we see them appear. We have to accept the element of predictive programming. You know what I mean? Like, it's there. They don't want you to think about it because they don't want everybody predicting everything, because then people would be aware of a lot of the agendas. Like, we have some agendas with gender issues that we're constantly bombarded with. Now, in one situation, we're going to sit here in a psychology class accredited by the American Psychological Association and say repetition is one of the number one methods to condition the mind. And then in another situation, when you don't want things recognized, we'll say, well, this might be pseudoscience, taking two sides of an argument. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with this system of illegitimacy in the education system, which is actually the indoctrination system. It's not really an education system, because an indoctrination system teaches you information, bias information. An actual education system teaches you how to think. You don't necessarily need information to think. You just need to learn how to think. You just need to learn how to process information. You need to look at information and understand how to process it correctly and efficiently. Schools don't teach you how to do that. All they do is teach you memory. They teach you memorization. Memorize these facts. Memorize chapter 5. Memorize this formula. What about application? Critical thinking and application is the only thing that schools should teach. The information that we learn at schools should only be examples that are used in the critical framework. But that's not how it works. We're not taught how to research things. We're taught how to write a paper. That's not really researching anything. The biggest issue in writing a paper is to make sure that you have a works cited page. Why? To cite someone else's research, copyright laws, to teach you to be mindful of what someone else created and not to create something of your own. School doesn't teach you anything except for how to be subordinate. That's what school teaches you. And to get in a line for your food. That's about it. And this is coming from somebody that has 3 degrees. How's that for some credentials? So let's check out a little bit of this. Because this is actually going to be a pretty good live stream. It's going to be long, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to be a good one, though. It's going to be a good one. So we've already seen this, but we're going to drop this again real quick so y'all can pay attention.
Excellent. Such fighting spirit shall provide us with rare sport later. But first, I must harness the laser core to my weather Dominator. To the water vapor controlling mechanisms of the Hydromaster and the electromagnetic energizing capabilities of the ion correlator.
So did you guys hear what he said? What's the significance in what Destro said? That's the question. Finna go train, but still listening. That's what's up, bro. I appreciate you. What's the significance of what Destro said? Because he said some pretty significant stuff there. He gave a lot of clues into what that device was going to do. Electromagnetism, right. So when he was talking about that, what was he talking about? What was he talking about as far as electromagnetism? Now pay attention to this, Roguish. Before you bounce, you might want to watch this. You might want to watch this. You're going to get a laugh out of this.
For the final lightning strike.
A brilliant plan, leader.
Naturally, I made it, didn't I?
No, not sunlight.
Yeah, they be telling a little bit too much. Oh, they be telling a little bit too much, man. I bet you whoever wrote this episode got fired.
Oh, don't shout, Destro. I'll throw in a tornado before the final lightning strike.
A brilliant plan, leader.
Naturally, I made it, didn't I?
No, not sunlight.
Zartan, listen, I'm gonna tell you some predictive programming about G.I. Joe. Destro should have been Cobra Commander. Destro should have been the leader of Cobra. But it don't matter how good, how efficient, how much better you are than somebody else. The leaders are always picked. If you remember, Cobra La picked Cobra Commander. Look at Destro, though. Destro was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? Destro was charming. Clearly, he was the only one that had a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? He had the Baroness. Destro was strong. He could fight. Made his own, weapons. And was ruthless. Destro was actually ruthless. He was more ruthless than Cobra Commander. Somehow Cobra Commander got the job. And that's why Cobra ain't never win shit, because they had the wrong person in charge. That's what made Cobra not successful. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important. Pay attention. Make good choices. I think Destro could have led Cobra to world domination, but they want to play around with Cobra Commander in charge. Well, that's what you get. Let's listen to this real quick. All right. Let's listen to this. Let's check this out. Pay attention. I want y'all to listen, all right, to what this says. Let's listen, all right? Hold on one second. Let's listen. Hold on. Let's see. Here we go.
Using a laser core stolen from G.I. Joe, Destro activates the Weather Dominator, which controls the forces of nature itself. Cobra Commander targets Washington, D.C. for destruction. But the Joe team repels the lightning attack with energy mirrors, and the Weather Dominator explodes into 3 parts. G.I. Joe must recover the parts before Cobra, or all is lost.
Did you guys see that? You-Law, what's good, bro? What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Let's run that back real quick. Hold on. Yeah, let's see. We're gonna run that back a little bit there.
Destro activates the Weather Dominator, which controls the forces of nature itself. Cobra Commander.
Did you hear that?
Cobra Commander targets. Using a laser core stolen from G.I. Joe, Destro activates the Weather Dominator, which controls the forces of nature itself. Cobra.
The Nature Dominator, the Weather Dominator, controls the forces of nature itself. What do y'all think about that? This is what they were programming. They want kids who were watching this during this time to be able to come up with devices and different things like this. This is one of the reasons why they programmed people watching this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? My man Gary is in the building. What's good, bro? What's going on with you? So what do y'all think about that, man? My question for y'all is that predictive programming? Did you see that? They repelled the attack with energy mirrors. None of this technology was around back then. This is actual for real technology that's being used now. With energy mirrors. Real talk, why they give such info to children who can do nothing with the info at the time? They are doing something with it at the time. They are. That's why we have what we have today. Implanted expectations. Implanted expectations is similar to operant conditioning. If you implant an expectation, like when you have a rapper saying you're either slinging crack rock or you have a wicked jump shot, that's an implanted expectation. You're not going to build a Weather Dominator. You're going to sling crack or either have a wicked jump shot or that's the end for you. See how that works? So remember back then, in order to watch all of these cool TV shows, we had to have cable. There was some people that had cable, and then there was other people that just had local TV. You don't think that the messages that were being implanted were different? The premium messages that was being programmed came from cable, and the lower messages came at the local level? I would agree. Predictive programming. Yeah. This is predictive programming. And what is Nicki Minaj, or who is that? Megan Thee Stallion? Don't she got a song called Thought Culture or something like that? So that's just, the expectation. We're going to program an expectation. We're going to implant an expectation. The implant of the expectation of people that listen to this music is you're going to behave like a thought. If you listen to this kind of music, you're going to sell drugs, or you're going to be a bum. if you listen to this kind of music, you'll enjoy bonfires, beer drinking, and a good summer night. Implanted expectations. You don't think that this is something that they could have possibly learned when they were doing the studies, the MK Ultra studies on the population, to attack your brain, to attack your mind, to train you, to put you into a position, to create your perceived outcome? If you have the perception of a limited outcome, can you ever get beyond it? If you say, you know what, my family, because of my family history, we usually only live to about 30, and you continue to tell yourself that, repetition. When the witches do spells, when the tribes do spells, what do? They chanted and they repeated themselves. That's not, despite what they said, when people came to those places and they saw the indigenous people there doing that, despite what they said, that wasn't savagery. There was a reason they were chanting like that in chorus, using their core, and at a rhythm or at a frequency. There was a reason for it. Implanting expectations. When you go to some of the cultures in Africa and some of those cultures, they name their children after what the life mission is supposed to be. That's an expected outcome, an implanted expectation. I'm going to name you something that says that you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a medicine man. Now you have to live up to your name. First, you have to live up to your family name. Then you also have to live up to your individual name. If I named you something that has to do with being a shaman or a medical doctor, well, guess what? If you don't complete it, now you're going to be walking around with an incorrect label. And who wants to be walking around with an incorrect label all the time? When you remove those elements out of somebody else's culture, there's no guiding. There's no guiding principle. Everything is supposed to guide. If you just name somebody something just for the hell of it, I'm just naming this person. I'm just naming this person tequila. You've named this child after an alcoholic beverage. Repetition, right? Somebody keeps calling you by your name, and your name means something, and your name is supposed to guide you to your place of where you're supposed to be in life. Every time somebody calls your name, it's a reminder of being on goal. It's a reminder of being on code. It's a reminder of completing your goal. We just name people stuff, pointless stuff. I haven't heard anything about HAARP in years, bro. Last time I heard about HAARP was Jesse Ventura did a documentary, I think, years ago. Yeah. There's some interesting things about HAARP, bro. Some interesting recent events, as well as some interesting past events. You know what I'm saying? If you guys haven't smashed the like button already, help your boy out. Smash the like button. All right. Share this video out to all of your followers. It helps because YouTube hides me. You know what I'm saying? Like when people say they're going to stop smoking next month, as opposed to saying today. Yeah, people say that because they have no intention on stopping smoking. They say that because it sounds good. You know what I mean? They say that because it sounds a lot better than it's perceived. And they also hope that they forget. You know what I mean? They don't want to deal with it. So check this out, y'all. I think I got through all of the G.I. Joe clips that I wanted to play. There's a playlist, all right? And I'll link all of these in the description box too. Okay? YouTube is definitely going to hide this live. Oh, yeah, you already know. You already know. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about HAARP. All right. And my question for y'all is, what is HAARP? What do y'all know about HAARP? You see that? My man Gary says YouTube is definitely going to hide this live. So I need y'all to help me with some engagement, and I need y'all to help me with some like smashing, and I need y'all to help me with some bell hitting twice. All right. What is HAARP? Is it a musical instrument, or is it an instrument of mass control? High frequency active auroral research program. What is auroral? What is high frequency? What are they talking about? High frequency active auroral research program was initiated as an ionospheric research program. Ionospheric. Ain't that what Destro said? HAARP can change the weather. Facts. Why? Because it's dealing with the ionosphere. That's where the weather, that's where the ion storms take place that create the weather conditions, in the ionosphere of the clouds and in the stratosphere of the clouds. Okay. But isn't that what Destro said in that little clip? We are experiencing the effects of HAARP now. They don't need to mention it anymore. I know, right? The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program was initiated as an ionospheric research program jointly funded by the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy, the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, also known as DARPA. It was designed and built by BAE Advanced Technologies. Its original purpose was to analyze the ionosphere and investigate the potential for developing ionospheric enhancement technology for radio communications and surveillance. What do they mean, ionospheric enhancement technology? What do they mean by ionospheric enhancement technology, y'all? What does that mean? A university-owned facility. HAARP is a high-power, high-frequency transmitter that's used to study the ionosphere. The most prominent instrument at HAARP is the Ionospheric Research Instrument, a high-power radio frequency transmitter facility operating in the high-frequency band. The IRI is used to temporarily excite a limited area of the ionosphere. What does excitement of limited areas of the ionosphere do? What does that do? What does that cause? This is interesting shit. Oh, yeah, for sure. I love this kind of stuff. Somebody brought it up. I know a lot of people don't be on this kind of stuff. So I was like, let me take a poll on it, see what people think. You know what I'm saying? If we want to do a video on it, if y'all want to talk about it. And they voted. There was 5-0 on the polls, on the votes. So I was like, let's get it. Let's do it. We'll put some together and talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Why not? So now here it says other instruments such as VHF and a UHF radar and a flux gate magnetometer, a digisonide, an ionospheric sounding device, and an induction magnetometer are used to study the physical processes that occur in that excited region. Work on the HAARP facility began in 1993. The current IRI was completed in 2007. Its prime contractor was BAE Systems. As of 2008, HAARP had incurred around $250 million in tax-funded construction and operating costs. In May of 2014, it was announced that HAARP's program would be permanently shut down later in the year. Keep this in mind, all right? Pay attention to this. Now, my question for you guys is why would they shut down HAARP? Like why would they do that? That's the question. Anybody got any answers? What are your thoughts on why they would shut this program down? After discussions between the parties, ownership of the facility and its equipment was transferred to the University of Alaska Fairbanks in August of 2015. Were you guys aware of that? So allegedly, HAARP is no longer being used. HAARP is the target of conspiracy theorists who claim that it is capable of weaponizing weather. Commentators and scientists say that advocates of this theory are uniformed as claims made fall well outside the abilities of the facility, if not in the natural scope of science. It's so funny how like they just always try to like debunk everything. Like cloud seeding to affect the rain. Facts. Because they were highly successful and now they had to stay out of the eye of the public. Facts. Very strange. Even more facts. You know what I mean? Even more facts. So I got a lot of questions and I'm probably not going to get a lot of answers because this is some very crazy stuff here. All right. So let me show you guys this article here. This is an article directly from the University of Alaska. And I'll tell you what, man, once I get the platform big enough, this is the kind of stuff I'll do a live stream from this place. I'll travel there, you know what I'm saying, take some notes, go to University of Alaska, do some interviews with some professors there. This is the kind of stuff that I want to do. So if you guys want to see this kind of stuff, help your boy out with the engagement. You know what I'm saying? Smash the like button, share the video out, all of that good stuff. Fun fact, HAARP technology was used in the 80s in the form of plane radars. The CIA flew many surveillance planes with the tech that supposedly had pinpoint accuracy. Yeah, that's fact. Khalid Hassan says, shutdown, privatization, similar of transfer of NASA to SpaceX. Bam, bingo. And when something is privatized, guess what? It's a little bit more difficult to keep tabs on it. So one of the reasons why a lot of these rich politicians want to say, keep the government small. Trust me, I get it. I'd like to keep the government small too. If you think about it, a lot of people should keep the government small too, because if you shrink the government, you shrink the police. However, they also weaponize these things. They also weaponize these things, folks. If they shut down HAARP, that would mean that their CERN project is escalating. Yeah, that's facts. That's big facts. How many of you guys are familiar with CERN? The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HAARP, is a scientific endeavor aimed at studying the properties and behavior of the ionosphere. Now, I need somebody to type into the comments for me the definition of ionosphere. What is the ionosphere? I remember when they were messing around with whales and dolphins. I wonder what they ended up doing to them. I bet you there's some smart dolphins swimming around out there, some extremely smart dolphins. The ionosphere stretches roughly 50 to 400 miles above the Earth's surface, right at the edge of space. Along with the neutral upper atmosphere, the ionosphere forms the boundary between the Earth's lower atmosphere, where we live and breathe, and the vacuum of space. It sounds like HAARP had access to more than just the weather. I would bet FEMA has its fingers all over the tech, as well as the CIA, the Pentagon, and the Department of Defense. Oh, absolutely. The ionosphere stretches roughly 50 to 400 miles above the Earth's surface, right at the edge of space. So my question for you guys is, what is the ionosphere, and what does the ionosphere do? What is the ionosphere responsible for? What is the ionosphere? Why is it significant? That's the question. Along with the neutral upper atmosphere, the ionosphere forms the boundary between the Earth's lower atmosphere, where we live and breathe, and the vacuum of space. Operation of the research facility was transferred from the United States Air Force to the facility of the University of Alaska Fairbanks on August 11th of 2015, allowing HAARP to continue exploration with ionospheric phenomenology via land use cooperative research and development agreement. So HAARP is still going on, still being studied. Ionosphere is where Bill Gates wanted to spray some calcium to block out the sun. Isn't that interesting? Why would he want to do that? He's such a nice guy. Did he want to block out the sun so it wouldn't shine the light on what he was doing in his relationship? HAARP is the world's most capable, high power, high frequency transmitter for study of the ionosphere. The HAARP program is committed to developing a world-class ionospheric research facility consisting of the Ionospheric Research Instrument, a high-power transmitter facility operating in the high-frequency range. The IRI can be used temporarily to excite, look at this, to excite a limited area of the ionosphere for scientific study. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's probably the most important sentence on that page. What does that mean? These people are pathetic. No sold natural harmony disruptors. Facts. Check out them archons. This goes way back to Nikola Tesla. Yeah, facts. Lucas, did you watch my Nikola Tesla live stream? You should check that out. Go watch the replay of that if you get a chance. All y'all should watch the replay of that. It's actually really good, I thought. Study seeking what result? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, my question is, what does exciting the ionosphere do? That's the question. We already know what the ionosphere is. But what happens when the ionosphere is excited? Does it get wet? No, I'm just playing. Actually, it does, because it causes rain. So don't even try to go there on me like I was being weird. You know what I mean? Exciting? I'm not sure. Let's look at this real quick. Ionosphere is a layer of the Earth's atmosphere that contains a high level of ions and electrons and is able to reflect radio waves. Facts. We got the Liar's website here with the snake tongue. 10 things to know about the ionosphere. All right. It's home to all the charged particles in the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's ionosphere overlaps the top of the atmosphere at the very beginning of space. The sun cooks gases there until they lose an electron or two, which creates a sea of electrically charged particles. The ionosphere is where the Earth's atmosphere meets space. The ionosphere stretches roughly 50 to 400 miles above the Earth's surface, right at the edge of space. Along with the neutral upper atmosphere, the ionosphere forms the boundary between the Earth's lower atmosphere, where we live, and the vacuum of space. It changes, sometimes unpredictably. The ionosphere is constantly changing because it's formed when particles are ionized by the sun's energy. When the ionosphere changes from Earth's day side to night side, when night falls, the ionosphere thins out as previously ionized particles relax and recombine back into neutral particles. But there are also more unpredictable changes caused by factors from Earth below and space above that make it hard to know exactly how the ionosphere will be at a given time. It's home to many of our satellites. That's important. That's important. Because how do we know that the satellites aren't affecting it? Or how do we know that there's no satellites flying around in the ionosphere that have the same capability as HAARP? So the ionosphere could be being affected by HAARP, and it could be being affected by satellites that are functioning like mini HAARPs. You know what I'm saying? They could be affected by satellites that are functioning like mini HAARPs. Disturbances there can disrupt signals. The ionosphere also plays a role in our everyday communications and navigation systems. Radio and GPS signals travel through this layer of the atmosphere or rely on bouncing off the atmosphere to reach their destinations. In both cases, changes in the ionosphere's density and composition can disrupt these signals. Now, isn't that interesting? They can shut down communication from the air, manipulate it for some reason. Yeah, that's facts. My question is, if the ionosphere contains free electricity, how does a spaceship get through? What metal are those ships made of? That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. That question actually leads to a bunch of other questions that I don't think people like dealing with. You know? It's influenced by weather. Weather from the Earth, like hurricanes or large thunderstorm systems, can create pressure waves that ripple up to the ionosphere. This is one of the factors that can cause changes in the ionosphere. These effects were only discovered within the past 15 years as data from NASA satellites revealed connections between weather changes and the Earth's ionosphere. 15 years ago. $15 years ago, huh? That's when they got those satellites. Isn't it interesting that HAARP was established in 1993? Influenced by weather. Think we know what they are doing. Yeah, exactly. These effects were only discovered within the past 15 years as data from NASA satellites revealed connections between weather conditions and changes in the Earth's ionosphere. So what that means is that the weather has some kind of dynamic relationship with the ionosphere. So if we can affect the ionosphere and pay attention to how what we do to the ionosphere changes the weather, then we can do what? Influenced by the weather. Think we know what they are doing. Yeah, that's big facts. That's big facts. And it's influenced by space weather too. Remember, if the ionosphere is in contact with the Earth's surface and is also in contact with the vacuum of space, then it can be affected by what's above and it can be affected by what's below. Doesn't that sound like alchemy? As above, so below. And it's influenced by space weather too, because the ionosphere is made up of charged particles. It's uniquely reactive to the charging magnetic and electric conditions in space. Ain't that what Destro was saying? Now pay attention, because we're talking about cartoons that first and second graders was watching. Ain't that what Destro said? Let me find that one. Let me find that one video real quick. I'm pretty sure that's what Destro said. Pay attention, y'all.
To the water vapor controlling mechanisms of the Hydromaster and the electromagnetic energizing capabilities of the ion correlator.
Ain't that exactly what Destro said? Control temperature and control people. Facts. But here go my question though. Did Destro in 1986 literally say what was just being said on here? But then they want to sit there and say that predictive programming is theoretical? Like, are you for real? What do you call that? Like, he literally just said the exact same thing. I'm gonna play it one more time so y'all can hear it. Listen, he literally says it all. All these people did at the University of Alaska, all they did was watch this episode of G.I. Joe and take Destro's idea. Now you got to ask yourself a question. If we can identify this and they came up with this, why didn't G.I. Joe sue the University of Alaska? Because don't this seem like this would be University of Alaska's or G.I. Joe's original work? Hasbro, the company that owns G.I. Joe, should own the rights to HAARP, but they never sued the University of Alaska. I mean, it's literally word by word what Destro said. You don't think they own the image and the likeness to all of this stuff? So how University of Alaska get away with doing this? You know what I mean? Shoot.
Oh, don't.
Hold on. Yeah, I messed up.
Penny as a quick change.
Damn it. Yeah, I messed up. But you guys get the point. I think I played it enough. So y'all know. Y'all heard. All right. So let's go back to this 10 things to know about the ionosphere. Because we're on number 7. These conditions, along with other events like bursts of charged particles, are called space weather and usually connected to solar activity, along with regular weather from here on Earth. Space weather is the other major factor that impacts the ionosphere. See that? The ionosphere constantly glows. Air glow is what we call the bright swaths of light that shine from the Earth's upper atmosphere. It happens when the atoms and molecules in the upper atmosphere are excited by sunlight, emit light to shed their extra energy. Or it can happen when atoms and molecules that have been ionized by sunlight collide with and capture a free electron. In both cases, they eject a particle of light called a photon in order to relax again. Air glow isn't just a beautiful sight, it's a useful marker for what happens in the ionosphere. Each atmospheric gas has its own favored air glow color depending on the gas, altitude, region, and excitation process. So we can use air glow to study where these gases are and how they behave. We study the ionosphere with invisible types of light. All right. Remember, they were talking about the radars and the microwaves. Are those visible light or are those invisible light? If radio waves get through, then how can physical man-made objects get through? Didn't they copy our brain waves to create radio waves? Right. DCF Beats. Good afternoon, Mr. Blacklight. I was watching a video from a brother Vincent Rhodes, weather manipulation. In the narrator, it mentioned this technology had been used before the 1980s. In his video, it speaks of silver iodes. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it, DCF. I totally believe it. Constance on point. Yeah, she knows her stuff for sure. P.S. I love your shows. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad that you come. Thank you. I think that a lot of the monoliths that we have on the planet were actually tied into some magnetic grid that was able to harness the ionized electricity in the ionosphere. I think that's one of the reasons why the pyramids had a gold top. It didn't only have to do with alchemy. It also had to do with like electromagnetism and chemistry. Like this is some of the stuff that Tesla was trying to bring back. But that's just my theory. That's just what I think. I think they had the ley lines and all of that stuff. I think they had all of that stuff fine tuned and they, you know, they had everything mapped out and they were able to harness the energy from the planet. I think that may be one of the reasons why people during that time could have possibly been a lot larger than we are. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, if you look at the hieroglyphs and all of that stuff in the pyramids, it shows the rulers as significantly larger. Now, we don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Like it could be that they were, you know, some kind of, you know, different form of human or maybe not even human, or it could just be like a metaphor, like for their importance. I don't know. But I would assume if there's a little bit more energy going on, you know what I'm saying, things might be a little bit more efficient or your body might interpret that energy a bit different. They probably had more access to clean energy, clean food, clean air. So they would be a lot more healthy and strong than we would be. You know what I'm saying? I agree with your theory, my assumption as well. Yeah, I think so. Because if you remember, according to the Bible, allegedly in the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant had some kind of static electricity properties. And it was made out of pure gold. And the caps on the pyramids were made out of pure gold. And they're placed on ley lines. And they have mathematical proportions to how big they are in comparison to each other. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what those proportions mean. Those proportions could mean the weakening or the strengthening of the amount of energy that was able to be channeled or conducted over those ley lines. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know. I mean, some people may know. I don't know. Me personally, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This is my assumption. You know what I mean? Come to think about it, the planets outside our ionosphere communicate with our Earth to rotate and work from various alignments. Yeah, this is facts. Yes, that is absolute facts. All the way from Neptune, all the way to the sun. You know what I'm saying? Even the moons of the different planets, like the moons of Jupiter, the moons of Saturn, the moons of Neptune, those outer large gas giant planets that have a lot of moons, all of that stuff works together in a system. And then there's other stuff that we don't see, like the Kuiper belt and other large objects that, you know, rotate around the sun in an elliptical orbit that only come around every couple thousand years, like allegedly Nibiru, or like the Apophis asteroid. So now here it says we study the ionosphere with invisible types of light. In January of 2018, we sent gold. Look at that. Interesting how they call it gold, right? You think that's an accident? Talking about predictive programming. We sent gold. Really? Isn't that interesting that allegedly, the reason why we have a residual desire for gold is because allegedly the alleged engineers who allegedly created us to mine gold for them to take back to where they were to fix their atmosphere. Allegedly. This is what allegedly happened. Allegedly. what do Cromwell Brown be saying? Allegedly. I think I snapped. I think I snapped. I could be crazy. Allegedly. Oh, that nigga's crazy, man. That nigga's wild. Yeah, so coincidentally, they call this thing gold. We sent gold, short for global scale observations of the limb and disk, to space aboard a commercial communications satellite. From its steady vantage point, 22,000 miles over the Western Hemisphere, gold creates a full disk image of Earth in far ultraviolet light. Isn't that interesting? Gold creates a full disk image. I'm surprised like no flat earthers like caught on to that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Kwame be saying allegedly. Allegedly, I think I snapped. Allegedly. Remember the movie They Live? Aliens did not use spaceships to transport themselves to their planets. Yeah. Well, I'm sure once you master, you know, being in outer space, you can find different means to travel. You know what I mean? In space, where space and time are all one unit, I'm sure there's a lot more ways to manipulate it than it is here and where we live at, where our time is based on linear cycles. You know what I mean? But my question is, though, how do you take a disk picture of the Earth? That's interesting. What is that implying? A disk? what is a disk implying? Going to get coffee, but wanted to check in and say hello. Well, that's nice that you checked in and said hello, Blondie Lee. What up? Good to see you. Our theories are just as good as anyone else. They are paid to theorize. Yeah, I agree. From its steady vantage point, 22,000 miles over the Western Hemisphere, gold creates a full disk image of Earth in far ultraviolet light, a type of light that's invisible to our eyes, but reveals day-to-day changes in the upper atmosphere. So this is the last one, number 10. We just got the first ionosphere images from Icon. On October 10th this year, we launched ICON, the Ionospheric Connection Exploder, to join Gold in studying the ionosphere. The spacecraft is now in low Earth orbit, 360 miles above the Earth. ICON studies the ionosphere using a combination of airglow and visible wavelengths of light and direct measurements of its surrounding particles. And the mission just sent back its first science images. Together, Gold and ICON will help us learn a lot more about the ionosphere, this part of space that is the closest to home. So my question, you guys, is the ionosphere for sure will definitely affect the weather, right? We all can agree on that. So that's one of the reasons why they're so interested in studying it. So I want to show y'all something else, all right? Now, you will never believe this, but there's some conspiracy theories abound as military closes HAARP. Now, remember, they said that they closed HAARP. The military said that they closed HAARP. But from what we just read, we know that's not necessarily true. That's not exactly how that happened. What ended up happening was that they changed it over. They gave it back to the University of Alaska. So you got to ask yourself the question, well, why are they reporting on this and saying that the military closed them down? You know what I'm saying? Why are they doing that? Conspiracy theories abound as U.S. military closes HAARP. The U.S. Air Force has told Congress it intends to shut down HAARP, a controversial Alaska-based research facility that studies the upper atmosphere. Look at that. Can you imagine how much electricity comes from that damn thing? They probably got like the fastest internet over there. Woke up to weather control. What's good, D? The U.S. Air Force has notified Congress that it intends to shut down HAARP, a controversial Alaska-based research facility that studies an energetic and active region of the upper atmosphere. So now here we go. They got to attack. Conspiracy theorists are abuzz about the news, given that HAARP, short for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, has long been the center of wild speculation that the program is designed to control the weather or worse. In 2010, Venezuelan leader, I think this is Hugo Chavez, claimed that HAARP or a program like it triggered the Haiti earthquake. Isn't that interesting? Why would a Venezuelan leader make that claim? What do you guys think about that? What would be the point of that? My aunt had arthritis. She was going to a clinic in New York City, Beth Israel, and they were inoculating her with liquid gold, telling her it was an experiment for a cure. Notice the name, Beth Israel. Yeah, isn't that interesting? And you know that they've been using that liquid gold, that monoatomic gold, for a long time. Allegedly, that's one of the things that the pyramids manufactured. That's what they had said they was going to use to allegedly fix that atmosphere on that alleged planet that those alleged people that allegedly manufactured us came from. For the record, the Haitian quake of 2010 was caused by the slippage of a previously unmapped fault along the border of the Caribbean and North American tectonic plates. Now I got a question. How the hell do you miss a tectonic plate big enough to cause a damn earthquake in Haiti? And we've been studying tectonic plates for how long? Let's just ask questions about that. That's an incredible claim by Chavez. Obviously knows something for him to make that claim. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And being that he's a leader of, you know what I'm saying, of a foreign country, like, exactly. That's just like, do you guys remember? I think it was in 2017 or in 2018 when the United States bombed Syria for the alleged siren gas attack, and it turned out that it wasn't Syria, like the United States and Britain staged it as usual because they're so legitimate. But do you guys remember that? There's videos going around. I think it was on Truth TV News. There's this Truth TV News. This dude named Rick Wiles. I think they might have took him off of YouTube, but he had footage from the UN Safety Council meeting where the Syrian Defense Ministry asked them to remove their genetically modified soldiers from Syria. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Darkstar, what up? White helmets were a psyop. Yeah, big facts. Terrorist organization, but they're just there to help because we're so legitimate. The United States, the heroes. For the record, listen to this. The Haitian quake of 2010 was caused by slippage of a previously unmapped fault along the border of the Caribbean and North American tectonic plates. How did they miss that? How did they miss a whole damn tectonic plate? How did they miss that? That's the question. I remember it. One of my best friends spent a year in army in Syria because of that bullshit. Yeah, man. That was terrible. That was terrible. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. So now here it says HAARP is a research program designed to analyze the ionosphere, a portion of the upper atmosphere that stretches from about 53 miles above the surface of the Earth to 370 miles. The program has been funded by the Air Force, the Navy, the University of Alaska, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. So this is what they say right here. They're going to give a whole explanation on this. I can tell. They're going to try to explain their way out of some nonsense on, on this article here. The U.S. military is interested in the ionosphere because this portion of the atmosphere plays a role in transmitting radio signals. HAARP sends radio beams into the ionosphere to study the responses from it. One of the few ways to accurately measure this inaccessible part of the atmosphere. Now, wait a minute. A cartoon character named Destro made this claim. I showed you guys on G.I. Joe, on the episodes of G.I. Joe, where Destro literally said all this. So you mean to tell me that Destro, a fictional cartoon character, figured out, and he didn't just blurt no stuff out. Like, he literally, like, specifically explained it in detail, in big detail. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, out of everybody that was watching G.I. Joe back in those days, Destro is the only one that knew what the hell he was talking about, because none of the kids that was watching it knew what they was talking about, unless they was some nerds, science geeks. I was a science geek, so I knew exactly what he was talking about. I was sitting there like, oh, yeah, this makes sense. You know what I'm saying? They do got those robot soldiers. This sounds like something out of a video game. I know, right? Miss, not Moss. Hold on. Did I miss a comment, Gary? Oh, yeah, here we go. How did they miss that? I'm not buying the unknown fault. Yeah, I'm not buying it either. I'm not buying that either. I think it's a crock of crap. HAARP operates out of the HAARP research station in Gakona, Alaska, where it has a high power radio frequency transmitter that can, look at this, they said perturb, where it can perturb a small portion of the atmosphere. You know what that means, right? Perturbed. You guys know what perturbed means? Well, like, why would they use that word? Like, you know, like, why would they use that out of everything? Yeah, we're gonna perturb the atmosphere. Like, really? It's just trying to make stuff sound important. Like, you know, like, give it a rest. Use some damn layman's terms. You don't have chemists reading this article. Shit, it's NBC, just regular people reading this shit. Other instruments are then used to measure the perturbations. Really, the perturbations? Come on, man. So now here it says the goal of the program is to understand the physics of the ionosphere, which is constantly responding to influences from the sun. Solar flares can send solar particles racing towards Earth, occasionally disrupting communications and the electrical grid. See that right there? This is tied directly into the electrical grid also. Chavez died thereafter. See? Why you think he died? Allegedly. That's what you got to start using, a whole bunch of allegedlys anytime you talk about anything. Allegedly. That system of illegitimacy tactics. Stop messing with the weather. I haven't seen that guy in 10 years. He disappeared. Okay. And then business as usual. Like, we'll just act like it didn't happen. Like, what? If scientists could better understand what happens in the ionosphere, they might be able to mitigate some of these problems. But the Air Force is no longer interested in maintaining HAARP. According to David Walker, the Air Force Deputy Assistant Secretary for Science, Technology, and Engineering. At a Senate hearing on May 14th, Walker said the Air Force has no interest in maintaining the site and is moving in another direction in ionospheric research. And what direction is that? Do they tell us? What the hell direction do they think they about to move into? And not tell us about it. Politics and conspiracy. The Air Force's plan to destroy HAARP has detractors. Now, see, allegedly, there's this alleged plan to destroy HAARP. Did y'all know about that? While the Air Force neither wants nor appreciates the unique value of HAARP, users from several federal agencies, laboratories, and universities in friendly nations such as Canada, Britain, Taiwan, South Korea, Sweden, and Norway are eager to use its unique resources, which would further spread American influence and leadership. Dennis Papadopoulos, a professor of physics and astronomy at the University of Maryland, wrote in an opinion piece in the Alaska Dispatch. Listen to this. HAARP costs more than $290 million to build, much of it earmarked by late Senator Ted Stevens of Alaska, who had great influence over the U.S. defense budget during his time in Congress. So we need to look into this guy right here. We need to look into Senator Ted Stevens. What do you guys think about that? I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to look into Ted Stevens. The site was host to numerous projects over the years, including the creation of the first artificially produced aurora in 2005. I didn't know that they had produced an artificial aurora. That's new. That's nice. Nobody told me about that. Did you guys know that they produced an artificial aurora in 2005? Like, did you see that on the news? Was it in the newspaper? Did like somebody tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, just so you know, they produced an artificial aurora up there at HAARP. You know, that thing that doesn't exist and doesn't do anything affecting the weather? They did something that affected the damn weather. Allegedly. Did anybody like drop that in your inbox? Because nobody told me about it. Just, you know. No, I didn't hear about it either. Yeah, I didn't hear about it either. You know. Just, you know, they just let that one fly, you know. Remember the invasion of the body snatchers? You had to be asleep for the transformational takeover to work. Yeah, that's facts. Artificial aurora. How do you even do that? Yeah, exactly. How do you even do that? And then, I mean, and then the nerve to not tell anybody about it. It's bad enough that how the hell do you do that? You know what I'm saying? But then they just ain't gonna tell nobody. We just gonna change the color of the sky today. You know, y'all can just sit there and wonder why. Like, don't you think the people that lived around that was able to see it wondered what the hell was going on? You remember recently they've been having all of this weird blue lightning in New York and all of these weird ass storms in Seattle. Just light, just all kinds of crazy stuff going on with lights in the sky. I guarantee you it has something to do with something like this, allegedly. So now here it says the site's generators now require remediation to meet the environmental standards set in the Clean Air Act, an expense no one seems keen to take on. Well, that's how the United States gets down. We're going to create this big budget and then somebody else can pay for it. Oh, you know, we're not worried about it. We'll just increase taxes. I don't feel like paying. Ain't nobody asking me about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Conspiracy theorists think HAARP's purpose is far more sinister than meets the eye. And here's how they try to lower your defenses. Oh, don't you all be so paranoid. The program has been blamed for everything from global warming to natural disasters to mysterious humming noises in the sky. I've literally never heard HAARP blamed for any of that. What I've heard HAARP as being, you know, people say that it's possible of doing is affecting the weather. That's what I've heard people say HAARP is capable of. I've never heard any of this other shit. This is some brand new shit for me. You know what I'm saying? Is this new shit for y'all? This is new shit for me. It's been blamed on global warming. No. Ain't nobody blaming no damn HAARP for no damn global warming. Everybody know that shit comes from factories and exhaust pipes and all kinds of other shit. Aerosol cans. No one blames global warming on HAARP. That is the dumbest shit that I've ever heard in my entire life. Yeah, that's new for me. Yeah, that's brand new. I never heard that. Man, no damn thing called HAARP. Now we got to deal with global warming because of it. Okay, well, this started in 1993. What the hell was going on in 1980 that was causing pollution and global warming? This is how these media outlets, how they come with this fake stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, they come with that fake stuff, man. Name a natural phenomenon and somebody probably suggests HAARP being behind it. No, not really. That's not really what happens at all. Nobody does that. There's specific things that people attribute to HAARP, and it's not any natural phenomenon. Like, when there's a storm, nobody just automatically assumes that that's HAARP. Like, no one does that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, did they go to a mental health institute and talk to these alleged conspiracy theorists that they got this stuff from? The sun's shining. Oh, that's HAARP. It starts to snow. Oh, that's HAARP. There's a hurricane. HAARP did that shit. Nobody does that. No one does that. That's not normal behavior for a normal person. And that's not even people that I consider conspiracy theorists. That's not normal shit that they do. Like, if I'm walking outside talking to a conspiracy theorist and it starts to rain, they don't be like, oh, you put a tinfoil hat on because that HAARP done made the weather change and you might get your brain fried. No one ever has spoken to me about HAARP like that. Or about a storm like that, for that matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not how it goes. The conversations never go like that. This is how they discredit people. Yeah, that's big facts. That's the tactics that they use to discredit people. They try to delegitimize them by saying, you know what, you can't trust this person because they're paranoid and a conspiracy theorist anyway. That's what they do. Online conspiracy theorists suggest HAARP was to blame for the 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Japan. Nobody that actually knows about HAARP that can be taken serious is going to blame. Okay, so we all know that earthquakes have to do with tectonic plates, right? And a lot of the tectonic plates are underground and they're under the sea. HAARP affects the upper atmosphere. There's no one that actually believes that HAARP had anything to do with no damn earthquake. Nobody said that. No one said that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that anyone said that. I think that this is just some stuff that they made up. Oh, we're going to come up with a bunch of conspiracy theories. These are horrible conspiracy theories. People who are actual people who are actual conspiracy theorists. Yeah, nobody blamed HAARP for the tsunami in Japan. Nobody did that. Did you hear about the military causing that earthquake in Florida a few weeks ago? No, I didn't hear about that. I didn't know there was an earthquake in Florida a few weeks ago. That's crazy. No, I didn't hear about that at all. Or maybe HAARP did it, allegedly. It shot it up in the sky and it shot back down. You know what I'm saying? It struck the ground and caused an earthquake in Florida. Man, conspiracy theorists are so paranoid. They're paranoid, and because anytime a conspiracy theorist open up their mouth, they already know that people are like, oh, Lord, here this motherfucker go. You know what I'm saying? So they're already ready with all the information. Like, if it's two kinds of people that always have like citations on deck, conspiracy theorists and atheists, always. They are always ready with the citations. Like, no one else is ever ready in a debate like a conspiracy theorist or a atheist or a flat earther. Them three, they always got some kind of citation or some kind of explanation on deck. They ready. I would say racists are number 4. Racist people that believe in that race science and the bell curve, they got to be a number 4. They come with some nonsense and some books. Well, on page 5 of the bell curve, this is where it says that black people have the brains of an orangutan. Okay, like, all right, that's great that you gave me that page, but you're quoting pseudoscience. But whatever, you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know at all about conservatives coming with evidence at all. I gotta say, the critical race theory has broken conservatives. Critical race theory has completely broken conservatives. They should never speak about critical race theory again, because they come with the most insane nonsense. Man, I saw this video about this 90-year-old evangelical dude that was against critical race theory. Oh my God, this dude was like, isn't there one of the commandments in Christianity that says thou shalt not like lie or something like that? Isn't that one of the 10 commandments? Isn't that one of Moses's 10 commandments? Thou shalt not lie. Isn't that like right along with like thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not kill? Man, this dude was just straight up lying. He said, in critical race theory, the people of color shall rise up against the white man and put the whip to the white man's back to make him pay for his wrongs over time. I'm like, what critical race theory book were you reading that said that? Do you have a black Hebrew Israelite buddy that lied to you and said, yeah, you come with us, you know what I'm saying, to our, to one of our meetings? Because, or did one of your Nation of Islam buddies tell you to come on down here to Yaqub's lab? Because that's not in critical race theory. None of that. None of that Yaqub quote Isu talk, like none of that shit is in critical race theory. None of it. And that's literally what these people be like, man, y'all got to look at these rants. And the thing that be so funny about the critical race theory rants is a lot of times it's not really a lot of white people that they show on the camera. Once in a blue moon, they have like, you know, a white woman who's, you know, she's having a breakdown at a school board meeting or something. I'm not going to get taught that my children are inherently evil. Okay, well, as long as they're learning critical race theory, you're fine then, because it doesn't teach that anybody's inherently evil. So what in God's name are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, but they literally quote all of this stuff that has nothing to do with critical race theory. It's hilarious. Every single time I watch a critical race theory rant, there was a dude that just got taken out in handcuffs at some kind of board meeting. Damn it, you're not gonna tell me I'm white and I'm wrong. That the cops had to get rough with him. You know what I'm saying? They snatched his ass up and took him out. Them cops was like, well, you're not gonna tell me we're white and we ain't just gonna arrest your ass when we say we are. That's the kind of shit when it's a battle of two opposing I'm white and I say so's. That's when the nuclear bombs and shit get launched. Like, I don't want to deal with that nonsense. That's what's about to happen with Vladimir Putin, you know what I'm saying, and Joe Biden. Joe Biden can't remember a damn thing, and Vladimir Putin just like sitting there smiling, looking like Smithers, waiting to push the button. Like, I don't like the way that the world is right now. Something needs to change very quickly before we are like all radioactively, you know, altered. You know what I mean? Allegedly. I think like Kwame Brown them developed a tick from being on YouTube, like trying to make sure, like, you know what I'm saying, like they don't mess with his content or nothing like that. So like now, like this nigga just randomly says allegedly. Like I get it though. You get into them habits. I'm about to start doing that shit too. I'm gonna get into a habit of being like, yeah, this shit is protected by the Fair Use Act. Like just every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Be at the store paying for some shit. Yeah, so your total price, sir, is $14.99. Yeah, this shit is protected by the Fair Use Act. What? They used to speak of smog, air pollution in the atmosphere, and its give levels in the news. They don't speak of smog anymore. Yeah, isn't that interesting? They don't talk about smog anymore. Smog was supposed to be like these massively thick CO2 and carbon monoxide emissions that were coming off. And what they were doing was they were causing what was called the greenhouse effect. Do y'all remember hearing about the greenhouse effect like in the 80s? Like greenhouse effect is like that Michael Jackson, We Are the World, when McDonald's was edible era. Do you guys remember that? You remember when McDonald's used to be edible? And like you would like drink McDonald's with Coca-Cola and like not think that you were gonna die. Like that was back then. You know what I'm saying? So here goes some more stuff they're gonna blame on HAARP. Somehow Oklahoma's tornado of 2013. Now, I could believe that could possibly have something to do with it. A landslide in 2006. No, I don't believe that. In the Philippines and many more natural disasters. Yeah, just because some shit is a natural disaster doesn't mean that it had to do with the damn earth. Like it had to do with the atmosphere. Like, no, like this is what I'm talking about. Like, man, people just make this crazy stuff up. Yes, Mickey does. Smog got moved to China and India. Yeah, that's big facts. The atmosphere of LA was all smog. That's not true anymore. Well, it could be true, DCF Beats, but the question is, do we hear about it as much? We don't hear about that too much. We don't hear about it as much, you know? If you guys are enjoying the video, please help your boy out by smashing the like button. All right, that helps your boy out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel, help your boy out. Sub the channel, hit the bell icon twice. All right, and share this out to your social media if you enjoy the content. All right, greatly appreciate it. So now here it says other conspiracy theories that hold HAARP's control this is important. Listen, other conspiracy theories hold HAARP controls people's minds or is capable of altering the very fabric of reality. First and foremost, you're an idiot, okay? Because nobody thinks that HAARP can control the fabric of reality. Nobody thinks that. There's not one damn person on the planet who thinks that HAARP can control the fabric of reality. Okay? That's something else. Not HAARP. However, there are some people that believe that HAARP can affect people's minds. Okay? When I was young, I was totally believing it. I thought it was real. Yeah, facts. Smog was beautiful to see during the sunsets. Yeah, it reflected real nice. It'll kill you. a lot of things that are beautiful will kill you or make you extremely unhealthy. This is true. Oh shit. These theories have yet to subside, even though very little has been going on at HAARP over the past year. So according to them, very little has been going on at HAARP over the past year. You know, HAARP is just busy. Somebody them left it unplugged, and somebody brought their damn kid to work and was crawling around and plugged in the plug, and all kind of landslides and shit happened according to this. But they said that very little has been going on there. You know what I'm saying? But all this shit is getting blamed on it. So that's interesting, right? Like, come on, man. In May of 2013, the site shut down. So see, the site shut down during a change in operations contractors. At the time, the HAARP program manager told reporters that the site was temporarily closed and locked, with only one DARPA project left to wrap up by early 2014. Yeah, right. What probably happened, allegedly, I think I snapped, was that this was the ultimate project that they wanted to make sure they could complete, and they wanted to keep it extra classified. So they got everybody's ass the hell out of there and then started working on it. Allegedly, I think I snapped. Possibly is what could have happened. My question, what do you think about it? What do you guys think happened? That's my question. That's what I want to know. Because the reason why I asked that is because apparently, do you see this? This is an article from April 8th, all right? April 8th of 2021. The doors were shutting at HAARP. You're done. You're fired. We don't need you anymore. All of a sudden, they got a $9.3 million grant to expand the research. And that's recent. I regret not becoming a theoretical physicist and a futurist like Miko Kaku. He predicts astrological events thousands of years in the future, and for that, he's become a millionaire. Well, nothing's stopping you. Get to it. I don't see why you can't do that still. I think they have upgraded and moved somewhere else. They could possibly have, or they could have some mobile units, right? They could have some satellite-like things and be sending them, into outer space. You know what I mean? They could be doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the hell they doing, the only thing that we need to know is that it's shady and that we need to copy it and invest in it, right? Because remember, it's all about world domination. So we need to be understanding this and what they plan on doing with it, right? So they lied or either had inaccurate information at the time, but what a coincidence, right? And now all of a sudden they got a $9.3 million grant to expand the research at HAARP. And again, this is a fairly recent article. This is fairly recent. Look, April 8th of 2021. UAF lands a $9.3 million grant to expand research at HAARP. A National Science Foundation grant will allow the University of Alaska Fairbanks to expand activities at the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program in Gakona. Is that how you say it? Gakona, yeah. It sounds like glaucoma. The U.S. military built HAARP in the 90s for $290 million to conduct ionospheric research related to communications, navigation, surveillance, and more. But in 2015, the Air Force ended the program and turned HAARP over to the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Now, what I find interesting is that almost all of the articles that we just read, they all had different explanations of what happened at the end of the HAARP program. Why do you guys think that is? Why would they have different explanations for what happened at the end of the HAARP program? You know what I'm saying? How does that make sense? UAF has operated it sporadically since for the government and independent clients. We've been charging a little over. Look at this. Oh, they just been making a little bit of money. They just been doing a little bit of a side hustle here. We've been charging a little over $5,000 an hour to use the facility. UAF Geophysical Institute Director Bob McCoy said, but we haven't had very many hours, so it's been costing us quite a bit. All the hell you need is 2 hours. Shit. What's 5 times 24? That's a lot of damn money. And you know you have to use this for like months at a time. And you mean to tell me that the United States government wasn't leasing this out? Damn, 5,000. Listen, man. Yes, listen, man. Listen. Man, listen. Speaking of $5,000 an hour, if I'm not mistaken, all right? If I'm not mistaken, Kwame Brown last night, because he did a live stream and it got crazy on there. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, he got 2 or 3 $1,000 super chats. $1,000 super chats. Like there was one red $1,000 super chat, and then magically, like I think there was one more or there was 2 more. I'm pretty sure there was 2 more. Some person spent $3,000 super chatting to him last night. $3,000, and that don't even count all of the other super chats. And this was in a period of less than 45 minutes. So Kwame Brown was getting paid about close to HAARP. You know what I'm saying? $120,000 a day. Then multiply 120,000 times 30. Or just bypass multiplying it times 30 and multiply it times 365. Multiply 120 times 365. Yeah, that was dope, man. I didn't even know you could give that much. I thought they had like a cap on it. I was like, damn. I was like, wow. I'm not thinking about receiving that kind of super chat money. I'm thinking about what does this person do to be able to afford to give that kind of super chat money? That's where I'm trying to be at. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm trying to be sitting in 2022. So now here it says McCoy said the 5-year, $9.3 million grant from the National Science Foundation will enable the university to maintain the HAARP facility and expand its operations. We now can open it up fully and invite people to use it. So it's a really big deal for us. McCoy said the HAARP station is the most powerful of 3 ionic research facilities on the planet. It uses hundreds of high-frequency radio transmitters and antennas to probe the ionosphere, the layer of the Earth's atmosphere that extends 500 to 600 miles above the surface. McCoy said it's a tool that will be increasingly valuable for scientific experiments involving the aurora as the solar cycle peaks. The next 4 or 5 years, the ionosphere could get a lot more exciting. McCoy said, you should see in the winter a lot more dynamic aurora. Look at this. McCoy said it's a tool that will be increasingly valuable for scientific experiments involving the aurora as the solar cycle peaks. The next 4 to 5 years, the ionosphere should get a lot more exciting, McCoy said. You should see in the winter a lot more dynamic aura. $43 million. $43,800,000. If somebody used HAARP at $5,000 an hour for 24 hours a day, that's how much money they'd get. That's how much money University of Alaska would get per year. $43,800,000. HAARP is also useful as a remote sensing tool, an application McCoy said is in demand as the Arctic warms and countries vie for control of it. We can actually look north several hundred miles from Alaska and we can study the ocean, McCoy said. We can measure sea ice and we can look for aircraft or ships out in the Arctic Ocean. HAARP can transmit, say, to the north, reflect off the ionosphere down to the sea ice, and you can pick up that signal again either with an antenna or with a satellite. McCoy said a separate grant will provide $1 million and build and locate LIDAR instruments at the HAARP site to study other parts of the upper atmosphere that, together with other instrumentation, UAF plans to relocate to the HAARP site, will make up what's being called the Suboral Geophysical Observatory for Space Physics and Radio Science. That's quite a handful. That is quite a handful. I'm about to put my app in. I know, right? Now, question. Do you guys remember in that last article where LIDAR equals lasers? Big facts. I believe HAARP and CERN have upgraded and converged into one. That's definitely a possibility. Or either HAARP was CERN's predecessor. You know what I'm saying? They probably learned a lot of information about manipulating the stratosphere that they used to try to manipulate the space-time continuum with HAARP or with CERN. You know what I'm saying? Now, my question is, do you guys remember from the NBC article that we just read a few seconds ago where it talked about HAARP possibly being able to control minds? Do you guys remember that? Let me know if you guys remember that. This article here, this is the one where it said that there's conspiracy theories about HAARP possibly being able to control minds. What do you guys think about that? Is that far-fetched? Yeah, here it is right here. Other conspiracy theories hold that HAARP controls people's minds or is capable of altering the very fabric of reality. Here it is right here. Can you guys see the screen okay? Other conspiracy theories hold that HAARP controls people's minds or is capable of altering the very fabric of reality. How would HAARP control someone's mind? How is that possible? Why would somebody jump to that conclusion? What is it about HAARP that would cause people to believe that it could control somebody's mind? Question. From what you guys have read and heard, and from what we've talked about today, do you believe that HAARP can control somebody's mind? If you do or don't, type it in the comments. Let me know why you think the way that you do. Because I got one last thing for you, and I want to see where y'all at on this. All right. So let me know. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all believe that HAARP can affect someone's mind? Can it control someone's mind? Or no? I need you guys to answer that question for me in the comments. And while you're answering that question for me, I need you to start thinking about another question. Have you ever heard of a man named Aaron Alexis? If you watch my content, more than likely you have. It's probably being researched for mind control through the use of 5G and Morgellons. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility, Sanders. Big facts, bro. So check this out. Have you guys ever heard of that? The odd messages carved into the Navy Yard gunman's shotgun will explain why people was killing each other over a sandwich. There you there you go. That it's definitely a viable explanation. Absolutely, D. It's definitely a viable explanation. So check this out. It says the odd messages carved into the Navy Yard gunman's shotgun. Question. You see how old this article is? September 18th of 2013. Question. Do you guys know who the Navy Yard gunman is? Who is the Navy Yard gunman? You guys know who he is? You guys know who this fella is? The Navy Yard gunman? So now, the Washington Post, which I have that article, and we're going to talk about it. All right. We're going to talk about this article from the Washington Post. Aaron Alexis carved bizarre phases on the stock of his shotgun before he killed 12 people at the Washington Navy Yard on Monday. And investigators are hoping the words provide clues to what prompted the shooting. 2 law enforcement officials said. The phrases were, pay attention, better off this way, and my elf weapon. Question: what do you guys think he meant when he said my elf weapon? What does that mean? HAARP deals with the tangible, and CERN deals with the outer realms of existence, which we may believe realms to be biblical or science fiction. Only CERN is real. Yeah, I agree. So where's my answers at? I need my answers, people. The officials have cautioned that they do not yet know that, if anything, Alexis may have meant by etching those phrases onto his weapons, assuming, of course, he was the one who carved them in the first place. So for now, at least, the best anyone can offer is an educated guess, particularly when it comes to the second of the 2 phrases. On that front, the Post cautiously notes that ELF can stand for extremely low frequency and can refer to a variety of things from weather to communication efforts. What does HAARP deal with? Radio waves, microwaves, charged ions, and the weather. Right? So this is why I'm asking you guys, how familiar are you with this man named Aaron Alexis? It's unclear, based on the paper's reporting, whether their sources pointed them in that direction or if they made the ELF leap themselves. Regardless, there seems to be at least some supporting evidence for the theory. See this? Look at this. It's unclear if the papers it's unclear, based on the paper's reporting, whether their sources pointed them in that direction or if they made the ELF leap themselves. Regardless, there seems to be at least some supporting evidence for the theory. You see this? Alexis told police in Rhode Island that last month he was hearing voices in his head of 3 people who had been sent to keep him awake and were using some sort of microwave machine to send vibrations into his body to prevent him from falling asleep. And this is according to the police reports. Now, my question is, what do y'all think about this? My question also is, have you ever heard of voice-to-skull communication? If you've heard of voice-to-skull communication, let me know. Type it in the comments. This was all contained in the police report. If they can transport images and sounds for us to see and hear, then subliminal messages are possible through HAARP and otherwise. Gotta agree with that. What do y'all think? What's the consensus on that? Another possible, although perhaps more far-fetched, interpretation of the ELF phrase offered by the Post is that it is a reference to some kind of military project. The Navy uses, listen to this, the Navy uses extremely low frequencies in several capacities, as the paper notes, including a part of a joint project with the Air Force called the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HAARP, a government-funded research program in Alaska that studies the ionosphere, but is often cited by conspiracy theorists who blame it from earthquakes to everything from earthquakes and hurricanes to mind control. Question: what do y'all think about that? There are only two theories put forth by the Post, although, again, based on the report, it's unclear they drew those possible conclusions themselves or whether those are the working hypothesis of federal investigators. Know about Alexis. Given how little we currently know about Alexis and his motivation, ELF could obviously stand for any number of things, including reference to an elf of the pointy ear variety. Now, what I find the most interesting, though, is that this dude, if you go back and do research on this entire thing, this dude literally, he has all of the signs and symptoms of somebody who was being bothered, you know what I mean, by these low frequency weapons or these high frequency weapons. You know what I'm saying? So we got one more article and we'll be done. How's that sound? You guys probably about ready to be done. Like, I want to sit here and watch all this nonsense. So my question so far is, what do y'all think about that? When do we stop calling it conspiracy theory and when do we start adding it up to see if it's actually related or not, instead of just blaring out that it's a conspiracy theory? Like it's a conspiracy theory. None of that happened. Okay, when do we stop doing that? When do we actually start trying to see if there's any kind of correlation between any of these events? We're just going to keep calling it a conspiracy theory. You're just paranoid. No, I don't think all of these people are paranoid. So when are we going to stop calling all of this stuff conspiracy theory? That's my question. When are we going to start putting two and two together? I think calling somebody a conspiracy theorist is very lazy. That's just my take on it. Navy Yard shooter Aaron Alexis, they claim that he was driven by delusions. All right. I need you guys to let me know if you're able to hear the sound. We're going to watch this short video. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Dude was just hunting people down, and there was no sound, by the way. So if y'all didn't hear the sound, it's not because anything was messed up. There just happened to be no sound. Weather. Whenever the practice of real science comes into play and test things through trial and error. Yeah, big facts. Big facts. Oh, you know what? I don't even think I had that added to the stream. Did you guys didn't even see that video, did you? Hold on, I'm about to show it again. Look at this dude. Look at this. Look. Watch this. Crazy. Crazy. He about to go hunting people down. You know what I'm saying? That is not cool. Not cool, dude. Not cool at all. All right. The government contractor who killed 12 people at the Washington Navy Yard last week was driven by delusions that he was being controlled by a low-frequency radio wave and scratched words in the torment on the barrel of the shotgun that he used. The FBI said on Wednesday, offering new chilling details of the attack. Question: How did the Washington Post know that this is delusion? How do they know? Yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it? That was crazy. My question is, how do they know that this was delusion? Clearly, this dude was being affected by something. Valerie Parlave, assistant director in charge of the FBI's Washington field office, said that Aaron Alexis, who was 34, began the shooting knowing he would be killed. A search of Alexis's electronic devices, she said, indicated that he was prepared to die during the attack and that he accepted death as the inevitable consequence of his actions. That is off the chain. Okay. Documents released on Wednesday and details provided by authorities began to fill in some gaps in the timeline of the September 16th rampage, which ended when police fatally shot Alexis in a third-floor cubicle. The clues about Alexis's mental state and motivations come from inscriptions found on his Remington 870 shotgun and documents found on his electronic devices. In one document, he wrote, listen, an ultra-low frequency attack is what I've been subject to for the last 3 months. And to be perfectly honest, that is what has driven me to this. What do you guys think about that? 12, yeah, 12 people. Now, my question is, what do you guys think about this? Like, this is insane. And this is an old story and never talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They never talk about this story. And I'll leave all the links, in the description box like I always do. If you guys want to do your own independent research, you're more than welcome. If there's something else that you find that you want to cover or that you yourself want to make a video about and want to, show me the video or whatever it is that you found, just leave a link in the description or, leave a link here in the video comment section so I can look at it. You know what I'm saying? Investigators are still trying to understand Alexis's pathway to violence. Parlave told reporters the etching on the gun included "not what y'all say" and "better off this way." Another scratched message, "my ELF weapon," and other evidence gathered from Alexis's electronics indicate that the former Navy reservist thought he was being controlled. Look, he thought he was being controlled by extremely low frequency electromagnetic waves, according to the FBI. What would make one think that? Why would that just automatically be an assumption? I think I'm under control of some electronic waves. Who thinks like that? There had to have been something that led him to think that way, unless he had a mental health history. But even if you have a mental health history, one of the medicines that they make you take is lithium. And as we all know, lithium is a soft metal. And lithium also changes the conductivity of the ions in your brain. It's one of the reasons why that causes those kind of mental issues. I think it's all part of military research and development. Yeah, I got to agree with you, Ree. I got to agree with you. I have got to agree with you. The Navy has legitimately used such technology, the FBI said. See, look. Do you see this? What do they mean the Navy has legitimately used such technology? What does that mean? I'm going to read this paragraph again. They're basically admitting that this stuff exists. They're basically admitting that this stuff has been used before. Okay? All right. Another scratched message, my ELF weapon, and other evidence gathered from Alexis's electronics indicate that the former Navy reservist thought he was being controlled by extremely low frequency electromagnetic waves. Period. The Navy has legitimately used such technology, the FBI said, but these radio waves have also been at the center of conspiracies about government mind control. What conspiracy theory? MK Ultra? That's not a conspiracy theory. Hello. So now you got to ask yourself the question, well, wait a minute. What are we talking about here? This opens up the can of worms on a wider problem. Because first of all, we have the Washington Post saying that use of these kind of weapons is legitimate. The government has just recently acknowledged the UFO phenomenon. You guys need to check out my old videos. Like, watch all of my content. Watch every single video on my channel. I've got so many videos about that and about the lead up to it. It's off the chain. Can't recall exactly, but correlation with stories like this happen with military employees or servicemen. That's how I've remembered. Yeah. Alexis had been working for the Experts, a subcontractor that was updating computer systems at the Navy and Marine Corps installations. He arrived in the Washington area August 25th and stayed at a hotel in Bethesda for a week. According to search warrant affidavits unsealed on Wednesday. From August 31st through September 7th, he stayed at a hotel in Pentagon City, followed by a stay at the Residence Inn in Southwest Washington, where he remained until the attack. On September 9th, he started working on the fourth floor of building 197 at the Navy Yard. Parlave said that Alexis had a performance issue at work that was addressed September 13th, but there's no indication that Alexis targeted anyone he worked for or worked with. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Parlave did not elaborate on the issue and stressed that investigators believe that Alexis fired at random. She said there was no evidence that any single event triggered the attack. The day after the performance issue was discussed, the FBI said Alexis purchased a Remington 870 shotgun in Virginia and went to a home improvement store buying items including a hacksaw. Police said the shotgun was sawed off at the barrel and stock. According to the documents and FBI statement, at 7:53 a.m. on Monday, September 16th, Alexis parked his Hertz rental car, a blue Toyota Prius, in parking garage 28 across from building 197. He walked into the building at 8:08 a.m. with a backpack slung over his left shoulder. When he got to the fourth floor, Alexis, carrying the backpack as well as a clipboard, went into the men's bathroom. He came out carrying a shotgun. The backpack later was found hanging on the back of a stall door. It contained a roll of purple duct tape, empty boxes of ammunition, and numerous computer disks and software, according to FBI affidavits. Now, I got a question for you guys. Do you think they ever released what was on that stuff? That's my question. Yeah. That's my question, guys. Do you think that they ever showed what was in that bag or what was on those computer disks? And my question is, what do you guys think was on those computer disks? The documents do not detail the shootings, but a haunting 30-second video provided by the FBI shows some of Alexis's actions. Dressed in a blue striped polo shirt and dark slacks with what appears to be an ID attached to his belt, Alexis stealthily stalks the hallways and the stairwell with his shotgun in hand, ducking behind walls when someone might spot him. Police received a call reporting an active shooter about 8:17 a.m. The FBI said officers from Naval District, Washington, and the Naval Criminal Investigative Service were among the first to confront the gunman, authorities said. At least 3 D.C. police officers, some armed with only handguns, were inside before heavily armed tactical teams assembled and entered. The 3 agents with the NCIS worked in Building 197, where they were assigned to investigate procurement, fraud, and officer counterintelligence support. Officials said that they engaged in 2 firefights with the gunman in 2 sections of the sprawling building. 8 additional agents quickly joined them. Quoting D.C. Police Chief Kathy L. Lanier, Parlay told reporters that the vast building was a tactical nightmare for first responders because of its numerous places for Alexis to take cover and hide. Yeah, and if you guys even just watch that little part of the video, dude looked like he was just taking cover at will. You know what I mean? Like he was moving like he could just, move however he wanted, whenever he wanted. You know what I mean? So I found that pretty interesting. Officials said that it was NCIS agents who pulled a DC officer who was shot in the legs to safety and carried him down 3 flights of stairs and outside. The officer, Scott Williams, a 23-year veteran, was still at MedStar Washington Hospital Center on Wednesday, but was expected to make a full recovery. Police also said that a second DC officer was hit twice in the chest, but that his vest saved him from injury. The shotgun was found on the first floor of Building 197 near the identification badge that allowed Alexis access, court papers say. Near Alexis's body, authorities said they found a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, which police have previously said was taken from a security guard he had killed in the first floor lobby. The documents say that the handgun was loaded even after Alexis's gunfire exchange in the final battle with police. Among the items found inside the backpack were USB card readers, USB memory stick, a copy of Microsoft Office, a DVD labeled unclassified, and a disc for computer training. The affidavit does not say what the authorities may have found on the computer discs or in the material. The FBI said that they had also found other computer discs. Notice we were never told what was on those computer discs. Okay? We were never told what was on those computer discs. I've heard that with copies of our DNA, they can target us to kill us individually. Yeah, absolutely they can. Absolutely, allegedly. There's methods that they can use to introduce genes into food. They can do it through RNA also, and that can do it. I had to get some information together and either do a video or a live stream on that. I actually posted something about that on my community wall. It's just down further. So my question for you guys is, what do you all think about all of this? This is a lot, isn't it? This is a lot. I hope I didn't overwhelm y'all with this, this long live stream and all of this information, and you know what I'm saying? But this is what y'all asked for. You all wanted to know if Destro's Weather Dominator is HAARP. My question is, after watching all of this, what is your answer? Is your answer yes? Is your answer no? Is your answer G.I. Joe is predictive programming? Is your answer you still don't know? I don't know, but I will see it when you guys leave it in the comments. And I will read it. And we will dive in more into some more topics very soon. But for now, that's all, folks. I appreciate everybody who watched. To all the replay viewers that come and watch the video all the way through to the end, I appreciate you. Please catch up on all the other content. Drop your boy some comments. Let me know. Give me some feedback, constructive criticism. All right. All my people that come to my videos all the time, I appreciate you. My channel wouldn't be where it is without y'all. Please keep coming. All right. And I will catch you on the next video or live stream. All right. Peace.